Eric Trump walked into that hearing room thinking he'd defend his father's business success story. Big mistake. Representative Jasmine Crockett had been waiting 3 months for this moment, 3 months compiling receipts, hotel bills, Secret Service invoices, wire transfers from foreign governments, tax returns, financial disclosures, ethics complaints, every document request, every FOIA response, every leaked memo. 6 banker boxes sat beside her table, each one color-coded and cross-referenced. Her staff had created a master database with over 3,400 individual transactions, every Trump property visit, every government payment, every foreign deal, all of it documented, verified, and ready to display. Eric Trump's opening statement, "My father never profited from the presidency." Her response. She held up a single receipt. Trump International Hotel, Washington, D.C. Secret Service Expense Report. November 8, 2017. Room rate, $1,185 per night. What happened next will end the Trump Organization's credibility forever. This isn't about politics. This is about receipts, cold, hard, irrefutable receipts. The Rayburn House office building sits on Independence Avenue, solid and imposing in its Beaux-Arts grandeur. March 12, 2025, 9 a.m. Tourists walked past the limestone columns without realizing they were about to witness one of the most devastating congressional hearings in modern American history. Jasmine Crockett arrived precisely on time, navy suit, hair pulled back in a low bun, minimal jewelry, everything calculated for television cameras. Behind her, 2 aides wheeled a cart with 6 banker boxes, a laptop, a projector, and several chartboards wrapped in protective sheets. The boxes told a story in their colors: red for Secret Service spending, blue for foreign government money, green for government event hosting, black for the master ledger that connected everything. 3 months of work compressed into 6 boxes that would destroy a presidency's legacy. Her chief of staff tested the projector twice. Her legislative director arranged folders in exact order. They'd wargamed every scenario. What if Eric brings lawyers? What if he claims privilege? What if he simply refuses to answer? They had responses ready for each contingency. At 9:30, Eric Trump arrived. He moved with the confidence of someone who'd spent his entire adult life in boardrooms and television studios, charcoal suit, red tie, the easy stride of inherited wealth and power. 3 Trump Organization lawyers flanked him, all carrying briefcases that suggested preparation for battle. As he passed Crockett's table, his eyes caught the banker boxes and wrapped charts. Something flickered across his face: concern, maybe, calculation. His lead attorney leaned in, whispered urgently. Eric waved him off with a gesture visible enough for Crockett to see. "It's fine. We have nothing to hide. This is just another political witch hunt." Crockett didn't react. She sat with her folders closed, hands folded on top of the red one, her face a mask of professional neutrality. She'd learned this technique as a public defender: never let them see what you're thinking. Never telegraph your strategy. Let them underestimate you. Inside, she thought, let him believe that. Let him walk in confident, because confidence makes the fall so much harder. The hearing room filled quickly: major network cameras, print reporters, ethics watchdog representatives who'd been tracking Trump conflicts for years. The audience arranged itself along predictable partisan lines: Republicans skeptical, Democrats eager, everyone waiting to see what those 6 boxes contained. Chairman Robert Garcia gave the room to order at 9:55. This hearing of the House Oversight Committee will come to order. Today, we examine financial dealings between the Trump Organization and the United States government during President Trump's term in office. We will review documented payments, potential conflicts of interest, and compliance with federal ethics standards. His voice carried the formality of congressional procedure, but his eyes held the anticipation of someone who knew what Crockett had prepared. "Mr. Trump, you're appearing voluntarily today. We appreciate that. You'll have 10 minutes for an opening statement. Representative Crockett will then have time for questions." Eric Trump stood, adjusted his tie, and launched into prepared remarks he'd clearly delivered in various forms dozens of times before. "Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members of the committee." Eric's voice projected practiced sincerity. This was his element, or so he thought. "I appreciate the opportunity to set the record straight about my family's business during my father's presidency. Let me be absolutely clear about something: my father never profited from the presidency. Not one penny. In fact, the Trump Organization lost substantial revenue because of his service to this country. He gestured broadly, movements calculated for television cameras. The narrative that my family somehow enriched ourselves from public service isn't just false, it's offensive. Offensive to my father, who donated his entire presidential salary. Offensive to my brother and me, who stepped back from international deals. Offensive to everyone who's ever served in government. Crockett remained motionless. She was cataloging every claim like a prosecutor building a case: never profited, lost revenue, stepped back from international deals, donated salary. Each statement was a lie she could dismantle with documentation. Eric continued, voice rising with practiced indignation. When my father became president, we put a plan in place to avoid even the appearance of impropriety. We appointed an ethics advisor. We established a trust. We committed to not pursuing new foreign deals. We turned down projects worth hundreds of millions of dollars. There it was, the defense she'd been expecting, always hypothetical money they claimed they didn't make, never accounting for the actual money they did. The Secret Service pays for rooms at our properties. Of course they do. The Secret Service needs hotel rooms wherever the president goes. We charge them at cost or at heavily discounted rates. We bent over backwards to accommodate federal employees. We gave them good rates out of respect for their service, at cost. He just said, at cost, under oath. Crockett made a mental note of the exact wording. Foreign governments did business at our properties. Well, our properties are hotels. Hotels host foreign guests. That's what hotels do. We didn't seek out this business. We didn't offer special deals to curry favor. We ran our businesses the same way we always had. Eric's voice took on an edge now, the practiced indignation of someone who'd given this speech many times. And through it all, we got crushed. Crushed by the media, crushed by partisan Democrats. We couldn't win. If we did business, we were profiting from the presidency. If we closed properties, we were abandoning American workers. There was no way to satisfy our critics. He paused, looking directly at Crockett. The Trump Organization didn't just avoid conflicts of interest. We sacrificed for this country. We lost millions in deals we turned down. We lost business because half the country decided to boycott us for political reasons. We endured endless investigations, baseless accusations, and character assassination. The conclusion came with emotion that might have been genuine or might have been performance art. With Eric Trump, it was hard to tell. So, when I hear people suggest that my family profited from public service, when I hear claims that we used the presidency for personal gain, I want to be absolutely clear: it's a lie. It's always been a lie. And I'm here today to defend my father's integrity and my family's reputation against these false attacks. He sat down with the satisfied expression of someone who believed he'd won before the questions even started. His lawyers nodded approvingly. Republican committee members looked sympathetic. This was going according to plan. Crockett hadn't moved. Her folders remained closed. She hadn't taken a single note during Eric's entire statement. She didn't need to. Every claim he'd made was about to be systematically destroyed. Chairman Garcia looked at her. Representative Crockett, you have 30 minutes for questions. She stood slowly, didn't open a folder yet, just looked at Eric Trump with the steady gaze of someone who held all the cards and was about to play them one by one. Mr. Trump, thank you for that statement. I want to make sure I understand your testimony correctly. Her voice was measured, almost conversational. You just stated under oath that your father never profited from the presidency. Is that accurate? Eric's response came quickly, confidently. That's correct, Congresswoman. And you testified that the Trump Organization charged the Secret Service at cost or heavily discounted rates. Yes, that's correct. And you said your family businesses lost money during the presidency. We absolutely did. We turned down deals worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Crockett paused, let his words hang in the air, let them be recorded, let them become part of the official record. Thank you for confirming that testimony, Mr. Trump. Her voice remained perfectly even, almost pleasant. Then she opened the first folder, because I have receipts that tell a very different story. The room went absolutely silent. Crockett nodded once to her chief of staff. He tapped a button on the laptop. The screen behind her illuminated with a single document blown up large enough for everyone in the room to read clearly: a Secret Service expense report, official government letterhead, line items in bureaucratic precision, signatures at the bottom, the kind of document that couldn't be denied or dismissed. Trump International Hotel, Washington, D.C. Date: November 8, 2017. Guest: United States Secret Service protectee Donald Trump Jr. Room rate: $1,185 per night. Government per diem rate for Washington, D.C., in November 2017, $217. The image was crystal clear, undeniable, devastating. "Mr. Trump," Crockett said, her voice cutting through the silence like a scalpel, "this is a Secret Service expense report obtained through the Freedom of Information Act. Can you explain why your hotel charged Secret Service agents, federal employees protecting your brother, $1,185 per night when the government rate was $217? Eric shifted in his seat. The confidence was already cracking. "That was, we charge standard hotel rates based on." Crockett's voice sharpened. "For the government protecting your family." She didn't wait for an answer. The next slide appeared before Eric could formulate a response: Secret Service overcharges at Trump International Hotel, D.C., a list of dates, amounts, government rates, markup percentages. Each line more damning than the last. March 8, 2017, $1,160 per night. Government rate, $242. 380% markup. May 12, 2017, $1,185 per night. Government rate, $217. 446% markup. July 20, 2017, $1,080 per night. Government rate, $224. 382% markup. September 15, 2017, $950 per night. Government rate, $215. 342% markup. Mr. Trump, this wasn't one instance. This was a pattern. Your Washington hotel charged the Secret Service 4 to 5 times the government rate repeatedly, systematically, for months. She let the numbers settle over the room like evidence accumulating in a courtroom. You testified under oath that you charged at cost or heavily discounted rates. These documents show you charged Secret Service agents, people who risk their lives protecting your family, rates that were 4 to 5 times higher than what the federal government normally pays for hotel rooms. Eric tried to respond. The Secret Service determines their own budget. No, Mr. Trump, Crockett's interruption was precise, controlled. The property owner sets the rates. The Secret Service has to pay whatever you charge, because they have no choice. When the president goes to Mar-a-Lago, Secret Service agents don't get to say, "We'll stay at the Holiday Inn down the road." They have to be on site. They're a captive customer with an unlimited budget, your family's budget.